Hey guys, so in the previous video I mentioned that sometimes we need to use a union type in GraphQL when we were doing testing for subscriptions. I think subscriptions is one of the most popular cases when we need to use this type. So I wanted just to mention what is this type and why we might need to use it. So if you recall in the previous video, we had the following schema. We had just one basically entity, a person, and we were subscribing to this person, right? So what happens if we have multiple entities and we want to subscribe to all of them at the same time? All right, so here is the example of another schema. I've made some changes. So we have a person entity here and a subscriber. Sorry, I wasn't creative enough, so I came out just with something like subscription subscriber. Nevertheless, that's not the point. So we have a person with just some name, title, age, and subscriber with just an email. All right, so I've added an input, queries, mutations, and here is the interesting part. So we have a subscription, right? And we have a few mutations, add person and add subscriber, and I want to subscribe to both of those. And whenever we add a person or we add a subscriber, I want to be notified about that. But right now I can add only one type, person, here, right? So do I create some weird type like type, I don't know, joined, and here I have person and it's of type person and subscriber of a type subscriber, something like that. And then I get an object, right? And one of those will be null and another one will have a value. So yeah, that's not going to work. So as you might have guessed from the title, we're going to add a union type, and this way we can get either person or either subscriber or any entity you want, and we know exactly which one we are getting. So this is extremely helpful, the way I see it, especially for subscriptions. So let's add the union type straight away, and then I will walk you through the current project. So let me show it to you. It will be union type, and let's call it. So I changed the function name to track any change. So I'm going to name it track any change result. It can be basically any name, and it will be just either person or, as you guessed, a subscriber. And that's basically it. And here we're adding this union type. All right, and let's make it non-nullable, so we always get the value. Let me just zoom it a bit out because I think it's way too big. All right, so now we will create a subscription which will return either person or subscriber. All right, let's just generate schema. And while it's generating, let me just show you some changes I've made. So I've added a person module and subscriber module. Basically, they're in every way they are identical, just a bit different entities. I've added here a Postgres database just to make it more realistic. And here I've added the Postgres database in the Docker. So I decided to run just the Postgres and Redis in the background, and the Node.js itself I commented out. If you would like to run through Docker, you can uncomment and run the both. So let me show you once again. Here is our Postgres connection. Here is the type or config. It's in the database type form, and let's go through one of the entities. So this is a person entity. It implements the person type, which we generated from schema. So we have the same types here. Obviously, we have person module, which uses this entity, and it provides resolver, service, and repository, right? So resolver just uses the service and returns its functions, and the server, here is the most important part, that we are using pub/sub service, and it publishes the event. So yeah, let's go through the line 15 first. So we are using person repository, which saves the person, which we pass through the input. So here we are using type form, but doesn't matter. It can be any other database. So basically, we are just saving the entity to the database, and we get the instance back, and then we publish this instance to the pub/sub. All right, and yeah, the subscriber is basically identical, but let's go through the PubSub service. So as you can see here, we are injecting PubSub. The PubSub is coming from the PubSub module. So I've did it before. I'll leave a link, but just so you're aware, we are returning the Redis PubSub, and here we have PubSub resolver and PubSub service. So service will be an abstraction on top of this PubSub, and now we are exporting only the service, so we don't use the raw PubSub everywhere in our application. And here we have basically publish method and subscribe method. Right here we use some maybe a bit complex TypeScript. I know if you have any questions about that, let me know. I can explain what I'm doing here, but basically just I'm taking the yeah, nevertheless, if you have any questions, let me know. That's not the topic of this video. So let's get through the code and try to create a subscription. Let me just close all these extra folders. All right, so let's start the application and see if it works, right? So we added the type already. Can we subscribe to both of those? And let's just wait for the server to start. All right, so the server is running. I already started Docker in the background. So we go to localhost 3000. All right, let me just close these on queries. So here we have subscription, track any changes. And now, since we have this beautiful union type, look at this. We have person and subscriber. So we can click on the person and look at this. On person, we can just get all the values from the person, and also we can get the type name, which which basically tells us which type we are getting, right? In case just so here, person and subscriber, obviously they're different, but what if you have exactly the same entities, right? They're what if subscriber have as well name, title, and age, and you don't know which one is which? So this way you can differentiate them. All right. So the other thing which we need to set, yeah, I think this pretty much is it. Let's create a subscription. So we are subscribed. Now let's add a mutation. And let's go back. Mutation, add person. So let's add a person. I've made all the fields as required. So we'll add a name, something like John Smith. His title will be UX designer, and I'll add his age is 30. All right, so we try to create. All right, I have read. All right, I've tried to create John Smith before. I don't know, John Alexis, some Greek guy. All right, so the previous error was from the database because I made all these fields unique. Actually, just the name unique. So it gave me an error that we are violating the constraint. But now we were able to create a person database, as you can see. Let me just show you one more time. In the person entity, we have ID, name, title, age. So we passed in name, title, and age, and we have a primary generated column which automatically creates UUID, and we got back the UUID. That's the only difference. But what about our subscription? It gave us an error that abstract type must resolve an object. All right, and you can read through the error. So the problem with the union types that we need to create a resolve field which specifies which type we should return in which case. And this was a bit tricky for me. I couldn't find it right away. There was nothing, once again, in Nestjs documentation, but that's why I'm here. So let's create this resolve field. For that, we need to create a specific resolver. So I'm going to name it the same as our function. So track and change resolver. Let me just get the right folder. All right, let's type out this resolver. Let me just copy a bit of a boilerplate. So this will be a resolver, which we should report from Nestjs GraphQL. Yes. So the first important thing that this resolver should return the exact type we are trying to resolve, which is track any change result. All right, so we should specify it here. I'm going to name it the same way. And this resolver is supposed to have a specific method, which is ResolveType. It will take a value, just one value, and it should have also a decorator, ResolveField. And this value basically will be the value which we are getting from the subscription. Right, so from the subscribe, which will be the values which we are passing into publish, and will be returned from the subscription, which are essentially, just close out this both, which are essentially track any changes result, any change result. So we can specify that the value will be track any change result, which will be either a person or subscription, depending on which method we are subscribing to. All right, and in this method, we are supposed to return the exact type which we are resolving in this specific case. So if we subscribe to add person, we should return person. And how we do this? Simply by saying return person. And it will resolve to a person type. If we would like to return subscription, we should specify the string subscription, or not subscription, subscribe. All right, so you got the point. Now, the next question is how can we basically differentiate when to return which type? So let me actually just show it to you first. So if we will return just a person, actually I think on the schema I added, yeah, one other thing I like to do is I like to add an enum with basically all the entities we have. So like person, subscriber, I do it manually, but this way we have a nice enum and we don't need to type a string every time and we won't make any typos. So what I like to do is to have entities dot, just import it, entities dot person. All right, and let's see if our server, yes, server is running. Let me close this one out. And also let's add a console log here so we can get the value which we are getting from it. So, all right, we are already listening. Let's add a mutation. So we will be adding a person and person input. Let's add all of those, and here we will get all of those. So name will be Amanda, title developer, and age 23. All right, so we added an Amanda and we got the same from the subscription with the type name person. Just remember this is very important. And what are we getting here? So as I said, we are getting the entire value from the subscription. So we are getting basically the payload from the entity. All right, so how can we differentiate between person and subscription? Sorry. So what the Apollo recommends is to add a check if the value is an instance of basically a person, right? The problem with that is this is going to work if we are returning the specific instance of that all the time and we are not mutating any object. Let me just show it to you. So for example, our person service, we are returning, yeah, the instance, we are saving the entire thing and we're returning. But what if we just gonna create some kind of copy and just copy the person instance? The values will be the same. It will resolve this, it should resolve this object, right? but it won't because it's no longer an instance of person, because it won't have the same basically how the instance of works. In case if you don't know, it checks the prototype, it goes through the proto chain and checks if it has the same protos as the class. So obviously it won't have because we just copied the object and it will fail. So the way I like to do it is, as I said, just memorize. Just as you can see, we're getting this type name. Yeah, it's added automatically by GraphQL. So we can actually add it before that. So here we got erased. If you've seen in the value, we are getting everything but the type name. So what if we add it when we are publishing, and then just in the resolver we will say that if the value dot dot type name will be equal to person, we will return a person. Obviously, it doesn't exist right now. So how can we do that? The first thing is in our schema. Let me just stop the server for now. In our schema, we need to add one more field, which will be init type name field. We specify this as true. Right, and now let's retrieve the schema. All right, now let's check our types, or his name, Graphql. All right, so now every entity has a type name already. And the next thing we need to do is to make adjustments to our publish method. So we can, basically what we will do, we will take this person instance, we will spread it like so, and here we will add a type name. And yeah, as you can see, we're already getting autocomplete. So what will be the type name? We can pass out the personal subscriber. We're already getting only these strings. If we will add something irrelevant, will it error right out? Yeah, we're getting the error. But we will add entities here to make it properly. Entities dot person. All right. So now we will get the type name into our ResolveField, and we can do the same for subscription, right? Subscriber, sorry. And we will return subscriber, and just in case if nothing happens, we will return null, but yeah, this will be an error anyways. All right, let me close those, and let me just adjust the subscriber service. We will do the same thing. We will spread it out and add type name. And once again, we're getting this amazing autocomplete. I'm just going to add this subscriber. Let me save it. And yeah, let's see what's going to happen. So did our server fail, or what happened? Doesn't exist on type. All right, yeah, I think we need to resolve which file is it erroring out. That's strange. I think it should error out somewhere here. Yes, it's erroring out here. So yeah, let me think about it. So here, oh yeah, we don't have a person. Let me just check. Yeah, I know what's the problem. What is the problem? The problem is that we are using the return type, and this is just a property. So here we need to is the bottom service. So here we need to omit the type name. All right, did it help? Yeah, seems like we're good. All right, let me check. Oh, the server wasn't running. Oh my God. Did I make it worse? All right, the server is on. That's the main thing. All right, so let's create, and well, actually, let's create a subscription straight away on both of those types. So tracking the changes, we will create a subscription on the subscriber, and let's subscribe. Yeah, we are listening. Let's close this out. And here we have add person, and here let's add Rebecca. Rebecca's darling, and she will be a project manager. And 35. Let's add a person, and we're getting the Rebecca. We're getting the person. Everything is amazing. And now let's see if we can add a subscriber. So we will go in here. I'm not here. God. Like so, and subscriber will be alexander@gmail.com. And what's the problem? Expected no. All right, that's strange. Let me see if it works. Oh, yeah. Email like so, right? All right, so we're getting Alexander, and the type we're getting the subscriber, right? And in the previous we got the person. See how amazing this is. So basically, this is the way we can subscribe to any entity we would like, or this is how we can use a union, so you can get the exact type you would like. And if you would like just to get one, you can delete this part, or you can get the subscriber, or you can create any custom type and basically resolve whatever you would like. Right, this is it for this video. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching. Take care. Bye bye.